guys, and welcome to another day with ZIMALETA. This was gonna be a live video, but I decided to just shoot this video not live. That way I could, tell you kind of like what's going on and, things of that nature. By the way, I got a seat for the little guy here. No, I'm not back to expediting, and that being said, I'm actually leaving Expedite. Because of all this recent math that I was doing, I finally know what it's costing me to be an Expedite, and I'm still making money. So I really don't even know how somebody with a new van, with all the payments and a very expensive insurance, how are they actually being able to sustain themselves? Because according to all my calculations, it's not enough money to just pay for all your bills, not to mention your rent and everything. So I made a decision that yes, I'm making money, but I'll make better money locally. And I believe, according to my calculations, per 40-hour week, even though we work more than 40 hours, per 40-hour week, I'm making like $14 an hour. And to me, it's just not worth it. I think I should be getting paid a lot more than $14 an hour. And I know what you're saying. You're probably saying, what kind of math is that? Well, subscribe to my channel or ask me to email you my PDF. You can take a look at it. If you think I'm wrong in any of those things, feel free to point it out, because everybody's calculation is going to be different. What I've done is I've based everything upon several different criteria, different type of payments, whether it's 80 cents, $1, $1.20, as low as 70, 65, 60, and even as low as 50 cents, just to see what you're going to be making with that. And I've based it on $70,000 income per year, and that was my base income that I know full-time expediters make. Because guess what? I was one. But since I bought my home 3.5 years ago, I have been expediting a lot less, and that's because I got no other choice. I have my project is like ongoing. I cannot give it full attention. I have to fix stuff. There's a lot of stuff to do, like when you buy a property. So keep that in mind. It's definitely not for everybody. Sometimes maybe you're better off just renting. But here's the thing. For me, it's gonna work out really good. But one of these other things when it comes to Expedite, guys, being an Expedite for over 12 years, I cannot fall asleep, guys. I have like insomnia. I don't know whether it's because Expedite is always on my mind, that at some point I'm gonna have to, leave and go back driving again. But let's be real here. Most of us that's an Expedite, we're driving at night, in the morning, we're driving for 24 hours straight, 36 hours straight. And that is if we got work. And of course we're not going to complain about that, but it's kind of tough on your body, not to mention all the other health hazards when it comes to what kind of food that we're eating and what kind of exercise we're getting. All in all, I mean, expediting should be paying us a lot of money to do what we do, but the way they're treating it is like there's no education involved. You're just driving, and your time is completely meaningless to them. All they care about is the bottom line, how much money they're making sitting in their offices. And we as drivers, taking all the costs, all the responsibility, all the maintenance, all the breakdowns, not to mention, but we should think about that. We're being away from our family, we're putting a hold on our life, and the life is short. It is definitely limited. And I ask myself this every day, like, what I want to do for the rest of my life. Do I want to do Expedite for the rest of my life? I always kind of thought this is going to be something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. But the more I think about it, I see it like this. I'm thinking, that's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And here's why. This little guy right here and my other guy. Not to mention my beautiful wife. I'd like to be able to see her every day, and I know it's kind of like one of those things, you know, to say that, I mean, we all have like wives that's at home, or, you know, that's waiting for us. Everybody has that, and kids. That's just the way it goes. And that's the toughest thing about it. Like, we are leaving, and for a lot of us, it's already like the norm. My kids are used to it. I'm kind of used to it. But when you leave, it's like you're not seeing them for like weeks at a time, and you know, when you do see him, it's like you gotta leave like in the next couple of days to keep it going. Luckily, 3.5 years ago, I bought a home for cash, and yes, it's nothing glorious, right? But man, like, it's allowing me to have some freedom, you know. So I have very minimum bills, and the income that I am making from my multiple income sources, I see that it covers my bills. It's not the same as Expedite. But when I get my taxes done and I look at the income on my taxes, like, sometimes I'm thinking, man, I hope I don't get out of it, because, man, it certainly feels like a lot of write-offs here. But when I done the calculation, I'm thinking the tax people are correct. We are not making nothing. And they already know that, you know. But now I do. All these years I was thinking when I was doing my taxes, because I do it myself, I'm thinking, gosh, like, I hope I'm not going to get out of it. But I do it using Credit Karma. And it tells me that it's verified, everything's good, everything checks out, but I still wonder in the back of my head, I'm thinking, what is this? Like, why is it so little? And I'm thinking, it's probably just write-offs. No, it's not write-offs. That's the fact. That's the income. And, you know, when I do it, it's, when I made all the calculations, it is very clear to me, we're just like not making enough. At most, if I would stay full-time, I would be making about $26,000 a year, clean profit. Ask me if I ever seen $26,000 clean profit in a whole year. Nope, I didn't. The most money I see every year is about between $5,000 and $10,000, and that's depending on how hard I worked. That's the most I see. I remember the time I was buying my real estate. That year, that was the year that I actually saved up all my money. Because prior years, there was other things going on. Guys, it was so tough collecting all that money. So tough. I worked really hard to collect it, and I barely scraped in order to get the $30,000 that I needed. You know, it took like about a year, you know, to save up. And I know it might seem like a year is nothing. You know, people are paying like 30 years, and I know you're right. But think about it. It's like you're sort of like you're going against the grain, or against the water current. You have van expenses, van payments, your mortgage payments, and then all the fuel costs and all the insurance costs, not to mention all the other expenses. And then you're trying to put that little money aside, because we're under the false assumption that we're making thousands of dollars. Like when we do the calculations, you're probably seeing like, man, like we're making like $40 an hour here. That's probably what it looks like. And then, yeah, like, that's pretty good. It's like, yeah, I'm away from my family, but I'm making $40. But when you do all the math, you're either making $7 or $8 an hour, or 14. Like, you know, when you have a new van, you're obviously making like $7 or $8 an hour. That is like not a lot to go on. And yes, if you don't take the depreciation into account, you're making a little bit more. But guys, the depreciation is there. It is very real. You cannot avoid it in any way, because brand new van in 2 years is not going to be brand new. Well, in 1 year it's not going to be new, but in 2 years you're not going to be able to trade it in and get even what you pay, what you owe on it, because you're still going to owe money on it. And guys, by the way, I'm not the only one to be quitting Expedite right now. I already know at least 3 other friends, actually like 4, that are leaving. One of them's got a brand new van. He's actually going to trade it in. By the way, just came to Home Depot here, gotta get some stuff. By the way, guys, so that friend, he's gotta, you know, he's gonna be probably like trading his Sprinter in. He's got like no other choice. He's not making the money on it, and he's leaving the business in pursuit of something else. Possibly he's going to be doing his own logistical company. That's what he's looking into. Now I kind of know, and well, I mean, I already knew this. But I see why most logistical companies, they don't have their own vans, because it is so expensive to maintain your own vans and all the insurances. So they much rather roll the cost down to us. They don't own the vans, and they're pretty much leasing your van, you know, to do their business, and leasing you. And it's kind of like slave labor, like, in a way. Like, we're getting paid minimum wage here. So, like, when I was doing the math before, like, to open up my own logistics company, because I highly considered it, and I had mixed feelings about it, because I have a lot of dreams and ideas. But when I was looking into logistical company, tried to open one up, when I done the math, at that time, I realized that, man, it's even at 50 cents per mile, it's worth, you know, like, to profit 15 cents per mile, not from your own van, from somebody else. By the time you get like 7 to 10 drivers, like well, even like 5 drivers, you're already making more than on your own van. But if you compare like apples to apples, you buy a van, put a driver because you think you're gonna make a little more, or you put a driver that has got his own van, you're actually making the same, but without the risk. You don't have to worry. Well, like, I'm talking about like income, like when it comes to fuel, when it comes to like insurance, you'll be making about the same as hiring a driver or buying your own van. But when it comes to maintenance, it's not the same. It would be more. It would be more headaches. So essentially, if you have like 10, 20 vans working for you, like even brand new, like they start out brand new, you put drivers, you're first doing pretty good. The next year, some of them are going to start breaking down. The third year, definitely going to start breaking down. And by this time, they've lost their value. And not only that, like now you have this maintenance and stuff. So now you have to think about, well, we're kind of like a big operation. We got to get our own lot. We got to get our own shop, our own mechanics. So he's going to be working on those things because there's no other way about it. You're going to have somebody else work on them. You're just not going to make any money with those as well, because mechanics charge top dollar. Now, as far as, guys, like what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing YouTube full time, and there's other things that I'm doing to make money, and it's enough for me. But I will be considering of actually kind of like becoming a sprinter mechanic. Considering. It is not a definite thing, because there's other things that I'm pursuing that I actually like. And I want to do what I like, guys, what I have a passion for. But, you know, to all of you guys that's an Expedite, if you want to know, you know, like answers or solutions, I'm going to be doing pretty much kind of like this free course for you guys. I just bought like 3 whiteboards Sunday, and I'm going to be writing all the details there, and like course by course, I'm going to put different situations, and you could put what kind of situation you have, and you could see if I'm correct or if I'm not correct. But at least you'll be able to have a clearer picture and understanding, kind of like, what are you really getting out of this? Because, guys, sitting down to do these calculations, I had to sit down 2 times, each time 4 hours. So it was 8 hours of doing math, pretty much. So I hope you guys appreciate that I actually went above and beyond, and actually did that. I will be doing that even more. And as far as Expedite goes, the only time I'm going to be back is when I actually want to take a vacation. I'll still have a sprinter around. I'm going to sell most of them. I'm just going to keep one. I'm going to put insurance on it. Like, well, I'm actually removing commercial insurance from this one. I don't need it anymore. I have been paying it for 3 months. It's been sitting for 3 months. So the only time I'm going to basically put it back is when I'm actually ready to get back out there and just travel. Just use it for travel, kind of like the RV traveling. Then it's going to be different, because I'm getting something for it. Like, it's not like, you know, like that. But my solution for the income, guys, is to sometimes you have a better chance of doing something local than all this Expedite stuff. Expedite seems like it's a lot of money, but it's truly not. So maybe going into a trade would be better. Like, even for me, if I become like home remodeler, I'll be making way more money. Right now, it's actually the construction has been booming actually for several years. There's a lot more money in construction than vans. I got into the sprinters because when I get into construction, it actually crashed in 2007, and I stopped making the money there, so I got into the expediting to make the money. But that market's doing pretty good right now, the housing market. So anyways, guys, take care of yourself, God bless you, and see you guys in my next video.
My name is Serge ZIMALETA. I'm 37 years old, and yes, I experienced success after buying my first home for cash. Back in 2011, I was broke, but I learned to solve problems on my own. Now I'm helping others to solve their problems. I know what pitfalls to avoid to stay profitable in business. Need motivation to be more successful in your life? Do you have Sprinter, Expedite, or business problems? Then subscribe. Let's find creative solutions to your problems. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my helpful videos.